Welcome to Understand All. I'm your host, Aslakir Gerleaf. Today, we're embarking on a fascinating journey into the world of the Oneida Community, a 19th century utopian experiment that challenged societal norms and left an indelible mark on American history. So, buckle up and get ready to explore this captivating tale of idealism, innovation, and the quest for a perfect society. Picture this. It's 1848. And a small group of men and women in upstate New York are about to turn the world upside down. Led by the charismatic John Humphrey Noyes, they established the Oneida Community, a radical social experiment that will push the boundaries of love, family, and economic structures. But before we dive into the juicy details, let's set the stage. The Oneida Community emerged during the Second Great Awakening, a time of religious fervor and social upheaval in America. Noyes, a brilliant but unconventional thinker, had a vision of a perfect society where sin could be overcome and all members would live in harmony. Sound too good to be true? Well, buckle up, because the reality was far more complex and controversial than you might imagine. At the heart of Oneida was the practice of complex marriage, a system where all members were considered married to each other. That's right, folks, free love in the 19th century. But before you get too excited, it's important to note that this was no hedonistic free-for-all. Complex marriage was tightly regulated, with Noyes and other leaders deciding who could have sexual relations with whom. Talk about a mood killer. But complex marriage was just the tip of the iceberg when it came to Oneida's radical practices. They also implemented a eugenics program called stirpiculture, which aimed to create a superior generation through selective breeding. Between 1869 and 1879, 58 children were born under this program, according to the Encyclopedia Britannica. It's a stark reminder of how even well-intentioned utopian dreams can veer into ethically murky territory. But it wasn't all controversial sexual practices and questionable eugenics at Oneida. The community was also a hotbed of economic innovation. In 1877, they began manufacturing silverware, which would eventually evolve into Oneida Limited, a major flatware company that still exists today. Who would have thought that free love and forks would go hand in hand? Despite its unconventional practices, Oneida was a model of gender equality for its time. Women participated in all aspects of community life, from manual labor to decision-making. In an era when women were often relegated to the domestic sphere, Oneida was a beacon of progressive values. But as with many utopian experiments, the reality didn't always match the ideal. Life at Oneida was a constant balancing act between individual desires and community needs. Privacy was a luxury, with members living in close quarters and rotating through different jobs and living spaces. Children were raised communally, with biological parents playing a limited role in their upbringing. It was a far cry from the nuclear family model that dominated mainstream society. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of Oneida was its system of mutual criticism, a form of group therapy where members would openly critique each other's behavior and character. Imagine airing your deepest flaws and insecurities in front of your entire community. It was a practice that aimed to promote personal growth and maintain social harmony, but it could also be a source of intense emotional stress. As the years wore on, Oneida faced increasing pressure from the outside world. Noyes, facing legal threats related to the community's unorthodox practices, fled to Canada in 1879. Without his leadership, the community began to unravel. By 1881, the Oneida Community had formally dissolved, with members dividing up the assets and transitioning to a more conventional economic model. But the legacy of Oneida lives on, not just in the form of Oneida Limited flatware, but in the enduring fascination with utopian experiments and alternative ways of living. The Oneida Community Mansion House, where members once lived and worked, is now a museum and national historic landmark, a testament to the community's impact on American history. So what can we learn from the rise and fall of Oneida? On one level, it's a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked idealism and the challenges of creating a perfect society. But it's also a reminder of the human capacity for innovation, adaptation, and the pursuit of a better world, even in the face of overwhelming odds. As we reflect on Oneida's legacy, it's worth asking ourselves, what would we be willing to sacrifice for the sake of a higher ideal? How far would we go to challenge the status quo and create a more just and equitable society? The answers may not be easy, but the story of Oneida reminds us that the quest for utopia is a deeply human impulse, one that continues to inspire and challenge us to this day. And that, my friends, is the story of the Oneida Community, a tale of free love, silverware, and the eternal search for perfection. It's a story that reminds us of the power of ideas, the complexity of human nature, and the enduring allure of the utopian dream. As we wrap up this episode of Understand All, I want to leave you with a final thought. The Oneida Community may have been a product of its time, but its legacy endures as a testament to the resilience and creativity of the human spirit. So the next time you pick up a fork or spoon stamped with the Oneida logo, take a moment to reflect on the incredible story behind it. A story of passion, experimentation, and the unending quest for a better world. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the fascinating history of the Oneida Community. Until next time, stay curious, keep questioning, and never stop dreaming of a better tomorrow. This is Aslakir Gerleif signing off.